Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into, I think, a topic we're all fascinated by.
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using the secrets of successful people, insights and habits for achieving your goals as our guide for today.
Great source.
Yeah, going through it, I was already hooked by the introduction. This isn't your typical work harder kind of pep talk.
No.
This is really about understanding the habits and the mindsets that, really make a difference.
Yeah, it really is. What I find so interesting about this source is it goes beyond like the surface level cliches.
Right.
And it's all about working smarter, thinking differently, and even reframing, how we view failure.
Okay, so let's unpack that. So the first thing that really jumped out to me was the power of setting really specific goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the interesting part, actually visualizing yourself achieving them.
Yeah.
Now, that might sound almost too simple, but you'd be surprised how many people actually skip this step entirely.
It's true. It's true. Think about it like programming a GPS, right? If you don't input a specific destination, you're just going to drive in circles. And successful people, they don't just wander aimlessly. They set very specific, measurable goals. And the visualization part, that's like mentally rehearsing for success.
Like athletes visualizing their, perfect race.
Right, exactly.
They're not just wishing for it, they're creating that neural pathway in their brains.
Yeah.
Almost as if they've already done it.
Exactly. And there's actual neuroscience behind this, right? When you vividly imagine yourself achieving a goal, your brain actually fires in a very similar way to if you were actually performing the action.
Wow.
So it's almost like you're priming yourself for success by strengthening those neural connections.
So takeaway number one, we need to get specific with our goals and then visualize ourselves crossing that finish line.
Yeah.
No more fuzzy dreams. We need high definition pictures in our minds.
High def. Now, let's say you hit a roadblock on your journey. That's where the next big idea comes in. Developing a growth mindset.
Yes. Carol Dweck.
Carol Dweck, yeah.
Her famous work. It's all about believing that your abilities aren't fixed.
Right.
But could be developed through, dedication and hard work.
It's about embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than seeing them as, like, threats. There's been fascinating research on this. Studies have shown that students with a growth mindset actually perform better academically, even when controlling for initial ability.
Oh, wow.
They see setbacks as temporary, and they focus on finding ways to improve.
So instead of like throwing in the towel when things get tough, people with a growth mindset, they're like, okay, what's the lesson here?
Exactly.
What's the aha moment that's going to help me level up? It's not about avoiding failure.
Right.
It's about using failure as a stepping stone.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Everyone stumbles, even the most successful people.
Right.
The difference lies in how they perceive those stumbles and how they respond to them.
Yeah.
Do they see it as proof of their limitations, or do they see it as valuable feedback?
I think we often get caught up in the motivation myth.
Yes.
That, success is all about feeling pumped up and inspired all the time.
Yeah, and while that initial burst of motivation can be helpful, it's rarely sustainable.
Right.
What truly sets successful people apart is their ability to take consistent action, even when they don't feel like it.
So ditch the waiting for inspiration game.
Yes.
Build systems, create habits.
Yeah.
That keep you moving forward, even on those days when you'd rather stay in bed.
Think about it. If you waited for the perfect moment or the perfect mood to write that book or launch that business or train for that marathon, you'd probably never get started.
You'd never get anything done.
Exactly. Successful people understand that action breeds motivation, not the other way around.
So I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah.
It's less about, like you said, fleeting feelings, and more about creating those habits and structures that just keep us moving towards our goals.
Yes.
Almost like automating success.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of structure, let's talk about routines.
Okay.
Successful people often have daily routines that prime them for peak performance.
Right.
It's about creating a rhythm for your day that actually supports your goals.
So instead of waking up and just kind of like reacting to whatever the day throws at you,
Right.
You're proactively designing your day to align with what you want to achieve.
Exactly.
I used to think that routines were like boring
Yeah.
and restrictive, but I'm starting to see them as a way to free up mental energy and reduce like decision fatigue.
Exactly. When you have a solid routine, you don't have to waste mental energy deciding what to do next. You can just flow through your day knowing that each task is strategically placed to maximize your productivity and well-being.
But we're not robots, though.
No.
Even with the best routines, there are days where, our energy levels dip.
Absolutely.
So our focus goes out the window.
And that's why successful people understand the importance of prioritizing their health and well-being.
Yeah.
They know that they can't operate at their best if they're running on fumes.
Right. So it's not just about working hard, it's about working smart and taking care of both your physical and mental health.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And there are so many different ways to, recharge and replenish your energy. Some people swear by morning workouts. Others find solace in meditation or spending time in nature.
Right.
The key is to find what works for you and make it a non-negotiable part of your routine.
I'm feeling inspired to go for a walk after this.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered setting clear goals, visualizing success, cultivating a growth mindset, taking consistent action, and prioritizing well-being. What's next on our success roadmap?
Let's talk about something that often feels like a very limited resource. Time.
Time.
We all have the same 24 hours in a day,
We do.
but successful people seem to just make the most of theirs.
Right. So it's not about cramming more into your schedule. It's about prioritizing effectively and making conscious choices about how you actually spend your time.
One technique that I find really helpful is the Pomodoro technique.
Yeah.
It's all about working in focus bursts, usually 25 minutes,
Right.
followed by a short break. And it just helps
Yeah.
me stay focused and prevents burnout.
It's like building in those little mental refreshers so you don't hit that, afternoon slump.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what about time blocking? I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, time blocking is another really powerful tool. It's about scheduling specific blocks of time for different tasks, almost like creating appointments with yourself. It helps you stay organized and ensures that you're dedicating sufficient time to your most important priorities.
Okay, so we're learning to manage our time, our energy, and our mindset. But success isn't a solo sport, is it?
Absolutely not. The source also highlights the importance of surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with have a profound impact on your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions.
It's about creating that support system
Right.
that encourages you to grow, pushes you to be your best self.
Yeah.
Almost like building your own personal board of advisors.
Exactly.
A team of cheerleaders and accountability partners who just believe in your potential even when you doubt yourself.
Yes. And don't underestimate the power of mentors. Finding someone who's already achieved what you aspire to can provide invaluable guidance and support. They can offer insights, share their experiences, and help you navigate the inevitable challenges along the way.
Speaking of learning from others, this source also emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Successful people are constantly seeking new knowledge, expanding their skills, and just staying curious about the world around them.
They understand that the world is constantly evolving, and staying ahead of the curve requires a commitment to continuous learning. They don't just rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
They're always looking for ways to grow and evolve.
So it's not just about formal education.
Right.
It's about cultivating a thirst for knowledge,
Yeah.
finding opportunities to learn and grow in all areas of life.
Even dedicating just 15 minutes a day to reading a book or listening to a podcast or taking an online course can have a huge impact over time.
Yeah.
It's about making learning a habit, a natural part of your daily routine.
Like building a mental muscle.
Exactly.
The more you exercise it, the stronger and more adaptable it becomes.
Oh.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. Goal setting, mindset, habits, and the importance of continuous learning. But something tells me there's more to this success puzzle.
You're right. There's one more piece we need to discuss, and it might be the most exciting and nerve-wracking part of the journey.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What's this crucial element of success?
It's the willingness to take calculated risks.
Okay, now this is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not about being reckless, is it?
No, not at all. It's about recognizing that growth often requires stepping outside of your comfort zone, venturing into the unknown, even when it feels a bit uncomfortable.
So it's about weighing the potential rewards against the risks
Yeah.
and making an informed decision. It's about having the courage to take that leap of faith, even if it means, facing the possibility of failure.
Exactly. But here's the key. Successful people don't just jump blindly.
Right.
They assess the potential risks and rewards, they prepare for potential setbacks, and they're willing to adjust their course along the way.
So it's not about being fearless, it's about having the courage to act despite your fears.
Yes.
And having a plan B, a backup strategy in case things don't go exactly as planned.
It's like navigating uncharted waters. You don't just set sail without a map or a compass.
Right.
You gather information, you consult with experienced navigators, and you're prepared to adjust your sails as needed.
Okay, so taking calculated risks is a crucial part of the success equation. But what happens when those risks don't pan out the way that we hoped? What happens when we face those inevitable setbacks and failures?
That's where the next big idea comes in, learning from failures.
Okay.
Successful people don't view setbacks as defeats. They see them as valuable learning experiences.
Right.
They analyze what went wrong, extract the lessons, and they apply those insights to future endeavors.
It's so important to not get bogged down by disappointment or self-blame.
Yeah.
And just use those setbacks as fuel for growth.
Exactly.
Turn those, quote, failures into valuable data points.
Yes.
Guiding us toward even greater success.
Think of it like a scientist conducting an experiment.
Okay.
They don't expect every hypothesis to be correct. They use the data from each experiment, whether it was successful or not, to refine their understanding and improve their approach.
I love that analogy. It really takes the sting out of failure and reframes it as a necessary part of the learning process.
Exactly. And here's a really practical tip that resonated with me. After experiencing a setback, take some time to reflect.
Okay. Write down what happened, what you learned from it, and how you can adjust your approach in the future.
That's such a simple yet powerful practice. It helps you process the experience, extract valuable insights, and prevent yourself from repeating the same mistakes.
Turns those moments of perceived failure into opportunities for growth and improvement.
Okay, so we've talked about setting goals, embracing a growth mindset, taking action, prioritizing well-being, managing time, learning from others, taking calculated risks, and reframing failure as a learning opportunity. Phew, that's a lot to digest. But it's all pointing to a larger truth about success. It's not a destination, it's a journey.
Right.
And it's a journey that's unique to each individual.
That's so true. It's not about comparing ourselves to others or chasing after some external measure of achievement.
Right.
It's about aligning our goals and actions with our own values, our passions, and aspirations.
It's about defining what success truly means to you and then charting your own course.
You know, I think we've only just scratched the surface of this topic.
You're absolutely right. We still need to dive into one of the most fundamental aspects of success, the power of a positive attitude.
Sounds like a great place to pick up when we come back. Stay with us, there's much more to uncover.
Definitely. Welcome back to our deep dive into the secrets of successful people. So before we took a pause, we were talking about, that willingness to take calculated risks.
Right.
And the importance of learning from what we might perceive as failure.
Yeah.
But there's one more key ingredient to success that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
And it's something that without it, it's like building a house on a shaky foundation. We can have all the right tools and strategies, but if we're missing this one element, it's not going to work.
Okay, you got me. I'm all ears.
And that element is a positive attitude.
Okay.
It might sound cliche, but there's a reason why this concept keeps popping up in success literature.
I mean, I hear that, but tell me more. Why is a positive attitude so crucial?
Well, think about it this way. Our thoughts really do shape our reality. If we constantly dwell on negativity or doubt or fear, we're much more likely to actually attract those very things into our lives.
Right. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we believe we're going to fail, then we set ourselves up for failure.
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, when we cultivate a positive attitude, we're creating a more fertile ground for success.
Okay.
We're more likely to see opportunities, to attract supportive people, and to persevere through those inevitable challenges.
So it's not about, ignoring the negative or pretending that everything is perfect. It's more about choosing to focus on the positive.
Yeah.
On solutions rather than problems.
Yeah.
On the possibilities, not the limitations.
You got it. And here's the thing. A positive attitude isn't something you're necessarily born with.
Right.
It's actually a skill that you can develop, just like any other skill.
Okay, so how do we train our brains to be more optimistic?
Yeah.
What are some, practical techniques that people can use?
Absolutely. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to cultivate a positive attitude is to practice gratitude.
Gratitude. So like making a list of things you're thankful for.
Exactly. It might sound overly simplistic, but there's a growing body of research that shows the powerful impact of gratitude on our well-being and even on our success. When we consciously focus on what we appreciate, it shifts our perspective.
Right.
From what's lacking to what we already have.
Yeah, I get that. It's like we're rewiring our brains to notice the good instead of always zeroing in on the negative.
It's like training a muscle, right? The more we practice gratitude, the stronger that muscle becomes and the easier it is to maintain a positive outlook, even when we're faced with all those inevitable challenges.
Okay, practicing gratitude is a great starting point. What are some other ways we can cultivate a more positive attitude?
Well, another powerful technique is positive self-talk.
Oh.
It's about becoming aware of that inner dialogue that's constantly running in our heads, and then consciously choosing to replace negative thoughts with more empowering ones.
Oh, I can relate to that. I used to be my own worst critic. Constantly like putting myself down and focusing on my flaws.
Oh, it's so common. But the good news is that we can retrain our inner critic to be more supportive and encouraging.
So instead of saying things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that, we can say things like, I'm capable of achieving great things.
Yes.
Or I'm willing to learn and grow.
Exactly. And it might feel a bit awkward at first, but with practice, it becomes more and more natural. And the more we feed our minds with positive thoughts, the more those thoughts become our default setting.
It's like we're creating a positive feedback loop, right?
Yes.
Our thoughts influence our feelings influence our actions, and then our actions reinforce our thoughts.
Exactly. And that positive spiral can have a ripple effect, impacting not only our own success, but also the success of those around us.
So we've been, talking about success this whole time as if it's this one singular concept.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge that success really does look different for everyone.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all definition of success. It's not about comparing ourselves to others or chasing after some external measure of achievement.
So it's really about defining what truly matters to us. What brings us fulfillment and a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
And then aligning our goals and actions with those values.
Let me ask you a question. What does success truly mean to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
That's a great question. I think for me, success is about living a life that's aligned with my values, pursuing work that I'm passionate about, and, making a positive impact on the world.
Beautifully said. And for me, success is about continuous growth, learning and expanding my horizons, embracing challenges as opportunities for learning, and using my knowledge and skills to make a difference.
I love that. And what's really fascinating is that even though our definitions of success might be different, the principles we've been discussing, the habits, the mindsets, the strategies, they can be applied to any area of life.
You're absolutely right. Whether we're talking about career success, relationships, personal growth, or overall well-being, these principles can help us navigate our journey and achieve our desired outcomes.
It's like we have this universal toolkit, and we can use these tools to build a life that's meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned with our own unique definition of success.
And the beauty of it is that we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always adding new tools to our toolkit. It's an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Please do.
Out of all the habits and mindsets that we've explored today, which one resonated with you the most? What one small step can you take today to start incorporating those insights into your life?
Remember, even the smallest actions, when done consistently, can create a ripple effect, leading to profound transformations over time.
It's been incredible, this journey of exploring the secrets of successful people. But the real adventure begins when we take what we've learned and apply it to our own lives.
I couldn't agree more. And, something tells me this is just the beginning of our conversation. There's so much more to discover, so much more to learn, so much more to achieve.
I have a feeling you're right. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for the success that you define for yourself.
Welcome back. It feels like we've really gone deep on this deep dive into the secrets of successful people.
Yeah, we have. We really unpacked like a whole treasure chest of tools, habits, mindsets, strategies, just all pointing to, I think, a better understanding of what it really takes to achieve success.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how, these principles apply to so much more than just climbing the corporate ladder or hitting those financial milestones.
Right. They really do apply to like any area of life where you want to grow and thrive.
Absolutely. Whether we're talking about our relationships or our creative pursuits or our health goals, or even just like our overall sense of well-being, these principles that we've been talking about can help guide us. They offer like a roadmap for achieving what we want to do.
Something that keeps coming back to me is that success isn't one size fits all.
Yeah.
Like, it's so personal.
It really is. And I think that's honestly one of the most important things we've talked about today.
Yeah.
Success isn't about trying to fit into some mold or comparing ourselves to other people. It's really about understanding what truly matters to us as individuals and creating a life that actually reflects our values.
I think so many of us get caught up in, like, what we're told success should look like.
Right.
That we forget to ask ourselves, well, what does it mean to me?
Such a powerful question to ask. And honestly, it's something we need to ask ourselves over and over again. Because our values change, our goals change. And that's okay. What's important is to stay true to ourselves and to make choices that reflect, our authentic selves.
I love that. Staying true to our authentic self. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Tuning out the noise and listening to that inner voice that knows what really brings us, joy and fulfillment.
Exactly. And once we have a clear vision of what success means to us, that's when we can start using all these great tools we've talked about. Setting those goals, visualizing, growing our mindset, taking action, making our well-being a priority, managing our time, surrounding ourselves with those positive people, learning, taking risks, and bouncing back from those setbacks. And of course, we can't forget having a positive attitude.
That's quite an arsenal, wow. But not about doing it all at once, right?
Oh, definitely not. It's more about choosing what works for you. And starting small, building those habits one by one over time.
Like a journey, not a race.
Yes. It's really about enjoying the whole process, the ups and downs, the wins and the losses. Showing up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it. And trusting that, with effort and a positive outlook, things will work out.
Well, I think it's safe to say we've both learned a lot from this deep dive, and I hope our listeners have too.
I agree, but this is just the beginning, There's always something new to learn, to explore.
That's what makes it fun. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you all with a thought. What really resonated with you today? And what's one small thing you can do today to apply it in your life?
Remember, every little step counts. Trust the process, enjoy the journey, and always keep striving for what you want to achieve.
Until next time, keep learning and keep diving deep.